Recording. Hello
and welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show tonight.
How you doing? How you doing, Joseph? You're looking good tonight.
Oh, thank you very much. You're looking pretty good yourself. I'm doing just fine.
I just had my eyebrows done the other day. You'll notice they're not so bushy anymore. I don't know.
That's very specific, and I appreciate the information, but why the fuck did you do that and then tell me? Seriously, did you do that?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I could totally see. I mean, people get their fucking eyebrows done. My eyebrows are bushy as fuck, and I pluck my eyebrows right in the middle, or else I have a massive unibrow. Unibrow. Well, you don't want to see my unibrow. It'll fuck you up. I haven't seen my unibrow in fucking like 15, 20 years or so.
You pluck that shit?
Yeah, I was going to go to a dance in Elkton with a friend, and my friend's mom was like, let's pluck those eyebrows. She didn't sound like that, but she should have. It would have been better. And so she was like, I was like, oh no, I can't do that. I'm a guy. And they were like, no, fuck that. You look terrible. And I was like, oh, I better look good for the dance. And so I started plucking my eyebrows and haven't stopped since, because you can't stop once you start. You look a certain way.
I don't have to do that, luckily. I have a nice kind of uniform, just bald spot in between my eyebrows.
Yeah,
nice.
I think that's what people want.
Every once in a while, I'll get like one stray hair that I'll just
bitch.
like pull out.
Yeah.
But luckily, I don't have like tufts of hair that I need to remove.
Yeah, mine is just there's no difference between my eyebrows.
Well, God just wanted you to have a unibrow to protect your eyes from the sun.
Yeah, for sure. The top of my nose.
And you're just like, well, fuck you, God. I'm going to pluck that shit off because I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't really understand at all the necessity for it. I don't know. I guess just it leads to more uniform face or something, more consistency. Or
you're just like a Cro-Magnon man who just has like
that
cleft.
Maybe that's what it is. It looks too primal. It looks too old-fashioned. I don't know. You gotta love a good old fashioned.
It sucks how like a lot of modern society just frowns upon body hair in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like a hairy person, and I'm just never will take my shirt off in a public place because it's just.
Oh really?
It's sad. Everybody's just like, oh my, people used to compare me to werewolves in high school.
Oh really?
Like in gym.
Sure.
Like you take a shower after you're done. And everybody like, Jesus Christ, man, you're like a werewolf. It's like, yes, I am.
No, I'm like a fucking person. Because we have hair.
I just used to tell people, I was like, yeah, I'm just super manly. I just have a lot of testosterone flowing through my body, and it just comes out. And, fuck, I'm sorry you're all bald little boys. I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay. And then just would take a shower and get dressed.
Cried incessantly into your chest
I was
hair.
I was actually always pretty good about not getting upset about the things that I didn't really have any control over. Like, I don't have no control over how much, like, hair my body grows. Like, I mean, I could trim it, I guess, and shave it, but that's just a process that seems unnecessary. I think if my wife just really couldn't stand like a hairy chest or something, I would probably shave my chest just because she shaves her armpits and legs and shit, because I don't like that stuff. It's weird to me, so it's only fair.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you do what you can if you're already in a relationship and they want you to like try something or whatever. But for the most part, you're kind of where you're at, and they either accept that or they don't. But I don't think guys have a huge pressure to shave, to not be hairy. I think some chicks like that, but they just, I don't know. I'm into natural stuff. I thought I'd be weirded out. My ex-girlfriend, she didn't she used to shave her armpits when we first started dating, and then she just stopped, and she never really asked or anything, because it's not mine to tell her. But it never bothered me, and it was fine. I just didn't really. It was like I'd look at it, and then I'd be like, that's nothing. Like, it doesn't matter at all. Like, it doesn't like bring a thing. Like, I had to think about it. Like, I had to be like, does this bother me? No. So, okay, fuck it. Doesn't matter.
She's still naked, so fuck it. I don't care. And
that wasn't my biggest issue with the situation. She doesn't have to be naked for me to see her.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like in this,
but you were picturing her naked. It's cool. You were picturing my ex-girlfriend naked with hairy armpits. It's fine.
No,
it's fine.
I was thinking in my own context of my life where, like, Vanessa's letting her armpits go a little bit longer. And then you usually, like, I think it would only affect you sexually if you were about to have sex with them and then they, like, lifted their arms and you're like, oh, God damn it. And then
you didn't know.
Your boner just died immediately.
It might.
But that doesn't happen because you're just like, oh, they're naked. Fuck it. We're gonna have sex.
Yeah,
now,
you're like, I'll make a note of that, but I'm gonna shove it way deep into the. I don't really care that much.
And then even after when you're done with your, your promiscuous activities, you probably are just like, you just won't even remember. You're
no,
like,
that's not gonna be the
until next time, and then you just push it back. That's a good thing about men. Typically, when we're all riled up, we can just ignore about anything and push a lot of stuff aside.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a gift.
Yeah, that whole gift of not being able to make rational decisions while aroused. That's that's led to such wonderful behavior in society. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a hairy fucking guy. I don't give a shit. I don't care, and it's just genetic, and I can't do anything about it. And I take my shirt off. Even when I was fucking fatter, I didn't care. I just took my shirt. I was more concerned that I was fat before than I was hairy. But my dad is and my brother is, so I always had I didn't have anybody around to people didn't make fun of it or whatever. Maybe they did, but I got hairy arms, but so what? So do everybody else.
I was raised on an Indian reservation, and they are all none of them have any body hair. Yeah. So I was like the weird Northman
white guy.
Looking guy from across the sea who's invaded the lands.
Yeah. Man who is white and hairy.
All of what I just said is not true.
No, you didn't grow up with Native Americans somehow, like the opposite tale of the Indian who goes and lives with the wolves. You were the white guy who lives with the Indians. Kind of like
I didn't want there to be like a random listener who was like, "Oh, that's so cool. He was raised amongst Native Americans. That's really cool, man."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then they believe that for a long time, and then the truth comes out years down the road, and it's this big scandal where I'm on the front page of the news.
Channing from Fleeting Thoughts didn't grow up with Native Americans, and they never made fun of his hair.
No. He's a fucking liar.
He's a fucking liar. But no, you took care of it. You told the truth after the lie.
Yeah, I nipped it in the bud.
Way to go, man. No headlines for us in the Inquirer.
I mean, if we need to get famous, though, we'll start lying. It's the quickest route to success.
Hey, I don't know if that's true, but it's what we're doing now ain't working. Telling the truth and not knowing what we're talking about, but still talking about it.
Yeah. Well, we just got to make up some really good lies that people believe.
Well, I saw a UFO. I saw a UFO the other day. I saw the school the UFO. I saw a UFO just the other day, and it came down, and little green female alien. She touched me. It was cool. I didn't mind. It was a UFO. She was flying around and then came down, and she was like, "What's up? How's stuff?" in her language, which was like, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you want to fuck?" I just could tell it wasn't the link. It was in between the lines. She was making weird noises, but I was like, "Your body is saying, let's get it on." And it had 3 boobs and green skin and no eyes.
That's weird.
Yeah. It was.
So you think it was like an echolocation type situation, or that's how she found?
I don't know. Maybe she had different kind of sensory perception.
Maybe her eyes are on her tits. Who knows? They have 3 eyes.
Hey, that would explain why she didn't wear clothes. But
it's not that she wouldn't want to have sex with you. It's that she was just trying to look around.
Yeah. Maybe I took advantage of that.
Yeah.
Damn it. Aliens don't have rights, though. So.
Well, there's your sex scandal story.
Yep. We got a sex scandal. We got UFOs. What's another big thing we can
Joe Gray accused of raping friendly UFO.
Friendly alien due to misinterpretation of signals, and its eyes were on its boobs.
That's part of the headline.
Also, it was really a dude, and it just went through transgender fucking alignment or reassignment.
So then that pulls in a whole other group of people who just hate you.
LGBT, they fucking hate me.
He's against transgenders.
I'm not against them. I just got confused and thought that it wanted to fuck me, and so I touched its boobs, which were really its legs on its eyes. What are we talking about?
I don't know.
I get confused about this lie. That's why I don't lie. I really don't. To get serious for a second, a long time ago, I learned that lying was a bad idea, and I really try not to. I mean, every once in a while, maybe I don't tell the full truth or whatever, but lying seems fucking dumb.
I always whenever the situation arises, there's always a brief second where I'm like, I could lie and like get out. Oh, I'm just gonna.
I know.
I just gotta say the true thing and just accept it. Yeah, I learned about lying at a very young age. Actually, I remember like the one lesson that always comes to mind is we were always supposed to brush our teeth after we ate breakfast before we went to school. And I remember one morning we ate breakfast, and then I went and got the rest of my stuff together to leave. And then I remember my mom asking me if I brushed my teeth, and I was like, "Yeah, no, I did it. It's fine." And then when I got home from school that day, I got fucking grounded for a week because she's like, "You didn't brush your teeth. You lied to me about it." And I'm like, "No, I did brush my teeth." And she's like, "How come when I went to touch your toothbrush, it was dry?" And I was just like,
"Oh shit,
dude, God damn it!" And I didn't know what. Goddamn, I didn't know those words when I was a kid. I didn't know about God.
Said them?
No. That was my thought. Like, if I could turn my thought into words.
Yeah, right. You're taking some creative license in here.
But that was like my first, that's like the first time I remember lying and then just getting in really big trouble. Because my mom was just so mad that I just lied to her, even though it was over such a trivial thing. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, now you're grounded for like a week. Had you just told me the truth, you wouldn't be in trouble at all right now. And then it was always this weird thing of like, next time I got in trouble, I did tell the truth, but then I still got in trouble because what I did was wrong. And I'm like, oh, I should have just lied about it. And she's like, yeah, but if you lied and then I found out, then you would be in twice as much trouble. And so
it's sort of that kind of punishment system, punishments in general, and discipline in general like that, it sort of encourages the perfection of lying. It encourages getting better at it.
Yeah.
I guess, because if you lie, you can totally get away with it if you do it right. Like if you had wetted your toothbrush and then just put it back and then was like, fuck it, I'm not going to, what did she get? How could she possibly know? Like you thought about it like evidence wise. Then she would have never known. And then you could get away with having shitty teeth and then it'd be your problem for a while. But yeah, I remember it was either me or I watched a story about lying and I got internalized. The moral of the story got internalized, which was if you lie, then you end up having to tell another lie to follow that lie, and then it just steamrolls, and then you can't remember your lies, and then you're just kind of you're just trying to keep track of all this stuff that you end up getting caught anyway, and just makes everything worse. So
I was going to say, that's the other thing, too, is I remember that quickly, or I realized that quickly that the more I lied, it was like, then I had to keep remembering what I had said before to keep my story straight. I was like, had I just told the truth, what happened? Then you don't have to really, you don't have to like remember what you said. You're just like, I just said exactly what happened. So
right, you don't have to keep track of it in your head and then keep it, ready to go. Like, oh, with this person or that person or whatever.
And then it evolved into me just thinking a lot about decisions before I made them. I'm like,
really?
If I just think and use logic and reasoning and just make the right choice, then I don't have to face a situation where I feel like I need to lie to get out of trouble. Just don't get in trouble. Just do the thing that you should do.
Right. Yeah. And then you got to figure out like when it's appropriate to go against the rules, and then you have to still not lie about it. So then you even it's like horrible for you if you like if a rule is bad, if it's a non-useful rule or it doesn't apply to you or you think it's wrong, then you don't abide by it, and then you have to like explain yourself or something. I don't know.
Almost creates a weird definition of your character, because there's like so many people they approach all these situations differently, and some people will lie about things and some people don't, and some people just can't make good decisions, so then they have to lie to make up for their poor decisions. It's just a really interesting, I think that depending on how people learn and interpret lying and telling the truth and making good decisions, it just ends up just creating you as a person, as part of it person. Obviously, it's not like your whole being. But it's like it's interesting because I feel like had these certain lessons not been instilled in me at a younger age, that I might be a different person now, just because had I never been caught with the toothbrush thing, then maybe I would have just kept lying and maybe not learned the same stuff. I actually wrote a chapter in Kingdom in the Sky, one of my books, about that whole situation, actually, because that's about like one lying? Of the lessons. Yeah, it's like one of the lessons that the father teaches the son. Is half that book is written in flashbacks, so you're learning about the main character as he like grew up with his dad. And that was like one of the first scenes that I wrote, and it was just based specifically off me lying about brushing my teeth.
Yeah, that's definitely a really, really easy allegory to just be like, she caught you because of the evidence that you hadn't thought of because you're a kid, and then you...
Well, and it flowed perfectly because the main character in the book is a private investigator, and that's what his dad did. And so his dad was just looking at the evidence to prove why he didn't do what he said he did.
Yeah, because he's a fucking investigator. Sorry, I gotta fix this thing. I forgot it doesn't work. The fan doesn't work when there's... God damn my life. It's too hot. This fucking weather keeps on getting uber hot every once in a while.
It's supposed to be like 90 all weekend, so be prepared.
Well, sweet. I might go swimming or something. I'm excited about
or
that.
Something.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you do in the hot weather? Stay inside and try to stay cool because I'm off on Sunday and Monday. So
no, I luckily have AC in my house, AC in my
You're
car,
and a dick. You're a dick.
My store is AC, so
yeah,
I don't dread summer quite as much as I normally do.
I don't have it in my house, but it's not that bad. It's just
go sit in your car outside.
Yeah,
with your AC on,
just take a
hanging
nap
out and reading a book or
something.
something.
I don't want to be that kind of guy. Don't be that kind of guy. Yeah, I started reading your book.
Which one are you reading? In Romantic Dreams?
Yeah, I told you I was going to start reading it, and I fucking did. And I'm really short chapters, but I'm not very far, so don't be mad. I think I'm on chapter 6 or something.
Oh, nice.
But it's funny because you use so many personal references that are just you. And I don't know if you do that in your other books, at least somewhat, obviously. But it's kind of funny because it's like now I'm just picturing you as the main character.
Yeah.
Because I know some personal things about you that you put in the book.
Well, this particular, like in Romantic Dreams, I actually use a lot because it's set in like present time in this area, like. And so I was just like, instead of trying to make things up, I'm just going to write what I know and then just mold the story around that. So, because the other stories, there's always like parts of the writer in the books because you write about your own experiences in different ways. So, but this one was a much more like very close to my own life. Except for there's like no ghosts or anything.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, for sure. But like, I mean, he's a writer. You're a writer. It's in and around Eugene. There's a few other things I can't think of off the top of my head where it's just essentially
they drive the same car that I have.
Yeah, the Cobalt. You put the Cobalt in there. Yeah. That was so funny. I was just like, oh my god. And then there was something about watching the movie
I Am Legend. Yeah,
I Am Legend, which is another thing that you like that.
Yeah.
That
no, I love Richard Matheson, and I had literally just watched that movie shortly before writing that chapter.
Yeah,
and I like to ground the book in like a like reality more. I was like, I'm just gonna pull things from like our real world, like because all my other books have always been like these fantasy novels that you just make all the stuff up.
Yeah,
but in this one, I was just like, well, I'm just gonna like pull things from the real world. Like it was a weird lesson that I learned while reading like it was a Stephen King book. I don't remember which one, but I realized how many like real life things that he just put in his books, and I just never really thought about it. Like I guess like when you're writing, you're just like, oh, I need to just create all this stuff, and you don't need to, especially if you set it in like a modern setting and like a real place.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's a lot easier, and it gives you more emotional depth, I guess, because if it's a little bit more personal, then you know more about it, and so you can write a little bit more about the thought process that entails whatever it is you're trying to talk about. So yeah,
cool. Well, hopefully you enjoy it. And speaking of shorter chapters, I write all my books like that. I don't like long chapters.
Yeah, it's nice. I like it a lot because then I can just go, okay, I'll read a chapter.
Yeah,
and it takes like 5-10 minutes, and I'm a really slow reader, and so I don't like to be partway through a chapter because then it's just like being partway through a podcast or something, like you or like through a game or something. Like you kind of need some resolution to that particular part so you can remember it and then move on. So I can just, those little chunks make it really easy to digest.
I always I like section them off because I always think of them because I started like seriously writing plays in high school, and so even when I write novels, I picture them as like scenes in a play or scenes in a movie, and so like when a scene's like over, I'm just like, that's the end of the chapter. Like they had this conversation in this room, totally. And then like that's the end of it, and then the next chapter is just like what happens next. So sometimes like my chapters will go on for like a lot longer because there's a lot going on in that scene, and then some of them are just like a quick like 2-page like this thing happened.
Yeah.
Because some books I've been reading lately, they have like these like 20-30 page chapters, and I just don't have. I only have like 10 minutes on my 10-minute break to read, so I get through like maybe 10 or 12 pages, and then I have to stop. And then when I start reading again, I'm like, I have to almost kind of backtrack and read a little bit of what had happened to like reorient myself with what's going on. So I've always preferred shorter chapters, and that's why I've always written them that way as well.
Yeah. It's kind of like on YouTube, like, especially, I mean, if you have the time to sit and read a book, it doesn't matter how long the chapters are. You just fucking read for hours. But if we live in a different world than like books back in the day where that was the only thing that they had. And now it's like, we are doing things in between doing things. Like we're entertaining ourselves in between either entertaining ourselves or working or going somewhere or whatever. So it's kind of like how YouTube, the most successful videos on YouTube are like no longer than 5 minutes because people want to they just want information like now. They want it quick. They want it in between the different things. I don't know. Maybe that's not related, but I think it helps in that you can organize your time more. And we have so much more time, or we have the same amount of time, but we have so much more options now. So if you want to do a lot of different things in your day, you know, like I get off work and I feel like my day's starting because I finally have some time to myself and I get to choose what I want to do. So I like, oh, do I want to watch this episode? Do I want to watch that show? You know, do I want to watch a documentary? And then you have to determine how much, you know, because I'm only going to stay up so late. So I got to determine which ones I'm going to watch tonight. I could do none of that. I could just like chill out and like.
I have the same problem. I feel like I always have so many things I want to do in the day, and there's just not enough time.
Right.
Like usually when I get off from work, it's like, I want to get some writing done. I want to do some, like, there's a couple chapters of this book that I want to read. I want to play fucking The Witcher 3 for at least an hour or two. And then I got, like, a Game of Thrones episode to catch up on. Yeah, I got to eat dinner, fucking kettlebell or run. Or, there's, like, so many things I have to cram into every day. So I feel like I, like, having, like, the bite-size things that I can just do really fast, it makes it a lot better. And you just kind of have to pick and choose, obviously. Like, some days I'm just like, I'm not going to even... Like, the other day, I got done with everything, and I was going to go to bed, like, an hour later, and I was like, I could play The Witcher, but it's only an hour.
Yeah.
It's just...
So
I just didn't even do it. I just ended
up
reading more of the book that I was reading instead, and just... It's tough.
It's definitely not a bad thing to determine what you want to prioritize, I guess. I actually haven't played The Witcher in the last 2 nights because I've made a conscious effort to do things that are somewhat stimulating for my fucking brain. Like, I realize that when I sit down to play a video game, I just stop thinking. Like, it's so easy for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, The Witcher, there's some problem solving you have to figure out, but it gets pretty obvious. You just...
Well, they point you where to go all the time.
Absolutely.
Like,
but even if
pick a quest.
Even if they didn't, it's not something that's designed to get you thinking about life or like how things work or like anything scientific or whatever. So I've been just watching tons of like Vsauce and Veritasium on YouTube, which are science shows, really interesting, like quirky scientific phenomenon and interesting questions. And I watched a couple documentaries about like prodigies and savants, autistic savants, and like the guy who they made the Rain Man movie about. I watched a documentary about him last night. And I realized that, like, essentially, if I choose a video game, I'm choosing to be the least productive I could possibly be when it comes to personal development or learning or spending my time doing anything other than just... It's essentially just... I don't know. It's not even as useful as masturbation because it's totally not necessary at all, whereas masturbation is. But I don't know. It's so torn. I'm so torn between video games and then feeling productive. Like I feel like I know for a fact that if I'm playing a video game, I'm not being intellectually stimulated. It's just not going to happen. I mean, unless the video game was like real science questions or like how to learn something or something. But I could be learning, more ASL or something. So I go through these phases where I'm like, what's the point? I'll just play video games. I'll just go through my, like I just need to relax, and it doesn't matter. And then I go through the time where I'm like, I'm wasting my life. I'm wasting my fucking life with a job that isn't intellectually stimulating and all night of non-intellectual stimulation.
Yeah.
And I'm a smart person, but I'd like to think I am somewhat. And I think I get a lot out of intellectual stimulation, like philosophy debates, and I started listening to Sam Harris's book. It's called Waking Up. It's about like a secular version of spirituality, like how to be spiritual without believing in God, like Christian God or a religious God, like without a religion. And it's really interesting because it's like about meditation and about hallucinations and doing drugs or doing chanting and stuff like that. So, but I know that like soon enough I'm just gonna be like pulled in by The Witcher. Like I want to fucking accomplish things in that. But when I'm pretending to be Geralt, I'm automatically not being me because I'm turning myself off. I'm being a character who's accomplishing things in a fake world.
Yeah.
And that's really rewarding because you fucking want to accomplish things. You want to, you want to save people and fucking destroy demons and shit. But I don't get to do that in my real life. I don't get to actually be like a heroic figure. I don't get to, nobody asks me to help them, like without, except for mundane bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's this fucking game about? Like, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. And so it's like, how do I kind of solve the problem of wanting to be worthwhile without resorting to voyeuristic versions of it, like through a video game or whatever. That's just a thought I was having while I was not playing a video game. I actually was thinking for a change.
See, and what's cool about video games for me is that what I get out of it is the storytelling and like the creative things that like other people have made that like you can utilize for your for my own storytelling. Like The Witcher, there's all these side quests, and each side quest just has this really interesting story behind it. Well, most of them do. And so I just really love the storytelling in that game. Like I almost play it more just for that than I do. Like I don't even really care about like riding around the open world that much. Like I kind of just like want to go to the next quest to find out like what's going on, and like and I've always been that way with video games. I've always preferred games that have really good stories because I just want to be told a good story. That's why people watch movies and read books. They just want a good story. So that's what I get out of it. But I definitely know what you're saying. There's times where I just like don't play video games for like a couple weeks because I'm just like, this is just a waste of my time. And then I go through these like I call them my dark times where when I'm not writing a book, like if I just finished one or I just haven't had the time to start like working on another one, where I just start feeling like everything I'm doing is fucking useless, where like I'm not contributing anything worthwhile at all because like my job is not like it's fun, but I don't sell anything that's like needed in the world at all. It's not stimulating, like it's not really that fulfilling. You go there and you do the same thing every day. You're just doing it to make money to live, and I have fun doing it most of the time. It's not like a bad job. It's just not fulfilling to me as a person because what I want to do is write. And so like that's when I know that I like have to start my next story, and I'm in that mindset right now where I'm like I need to start another book because I start getting like really depressed. Like I'm just not doing anything with my life at all. And like the only time I feel like I'm being productive is when I'm actually like writing a book, even though I know that like only a couple of dozen people are even going to buy it and read it. It's just like I know that I did something worthwhile that not that many other people are doing, that like as a big contribution for myself to the world. So yeah, I definitely understand like how you're saying like you'll go through a slew where you love games and then where you just are like, why am I doing this? Like I need to be learning and bettering myself. And I do the exact same thing. And I think that a lot of people do that. It's probably just like your mindset and emotions and chemicals balances. You're just like in these different moods. But I definitely do it the same thing for sure. Yeah.
And that makes sense for you because you're more interested in storytelling in general. And the storytelling in The Witcher is really good, which is one of the reasons why it's so compelling and why I want to stay into it. And I really enjoy the stories in it more than most games, for sure. But I don't know. I can't to me, stories I tend to like abstract stories out to their principles and their themes, and then just kind of like shuffle them all into categories, and then I'm done. Like to me, it's not like nuanced and detailed as much, unless it's really well done. But I don't read a lot of books either. I guess I get most of my stories through quick television shows and some really good movies, but a good story is one of the most compelling things in the world and can tell you a lot about life and morals and decision making and love and hate and all that good stuff. So I don't want to discredit any of the good stuff, and ultimately with video games, there's nothing immoral about playing video games. You can do that, play video games all you want, but at the same time, I think people underestimate the distraction that it has created in society, where we have a whole generation of millions and millions of people who are accomplishing things in virtual worlds, and I hesitate to think about what they could have been doing.
Yeah.
Like maybe nothing. Maybe there wouldn't be anything getting done. Maybe we don't need to. Maybe there's a small group of people who are really producing a lot, especially food and shelter that we need. So there's all this extra time on our hands. Like societies have allowed us to just have so much time.
Yeah.
We don't need to produce. But at the same time, until the world's fucking perfect, it's like no one's contributing to make anything better when they're playing video games. They're just spending money. They're just wasting time. And that's fine. It's just I for myself, I get weirded out. I feel guilty. I feel depressed about how much time I'm spending doing it.
Yeah,
and that's a new feeling. I don't even think I felt that 5 years ago. I would just fucking play video games. Like that was what we did. That's how I got along with my peers and what we talked about. And it's all reinforced within the generation that was, all these, there's jobs related to it. So it makes everybody feel like it's legitimately like productive. You know? But it's an internal system of it feedbacks, it feeds back to itself. Like, we want to play video games, so people play video games. So it's just kind of internal. Yeah. It doesn't actually really affect the world at large in any particular positive way, other than small things here and there. And a kid who can't walk or talk, or do certain things. It's just a wonderful outlet for them and gives people the ability to learn things as they grow as well. Like you can learn how to read from video games, and you can learn certain things, but I think people should really think about how much time they spend playing video games. Yeah. It's kind of like doing anything with electronics nowadays. Is you kind of have to realize that when you're doing that, you're not doing other things, and there's a lot going on in the real world that could be done. I guess I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't know. I've been thinking about like what I want to do with the rest of my life, like the next 30 years, and it's like it seems like a fucking daunting task to really take on.
Yeah.
Like, do I want to like go back to school? Do I want to try to start a family? Do I want to, because those are big commitments. Do I want to just keep doing what I do until my job doesn't exist anymore and I have to go do something else? Should I just go do different jobs, like just go get different, try this and that and see what's out there? Or right now I'm concentrating on my job and I take it seriously and I like what I'm doing and I'm progressing in it, but like I'm getting old. I'm gonna die. I don't know.
Maybe that's why you're having all these new thoughts. You're like,
I'm getting older.
You just turned
old,
what, 31? 31, yeah.
31 the other day,
which is very young still, but
it's
doesn't.
It seems like it, but it doesn't at the same time.
Yeah, well, it's
going by quick. I'm
not
getting
time
younger.
Goes faster the older you get.
Yeah.
Because I kept thinking the other day that it was like April, and I'm like, no, it's fucking June already.
Yeah,
like
it's going by so quick.
Ever since I got this new job, I'm working a lot more, and my weeks are just flying by. Like, I'm at work, and then if I'm not at work, I'm like working out and spending time with my wife and my dog, and like trying to write, and like I have all this stuff that I'm just like on the go all the time, and my weeks are just like going by so quickly. And
for the first time in my life, I'm actually planning things out in the future. Like I had the calendar on my phone. I've had calendars before. I never used planners in my when I was at school or in college. I just did what I had to do and I got it done. Now I'm like I'm going to plan this out. I got this plan. I'm going to go hang out with this person this day. I've got like weekly and daily things that just have to get done. And so I'm organizing everything, which makes it so much easier to be more productive. And I like doing it. It just sort of happened. I didn't like tell myself to start doing it. It just was uber convenient to get my stuff done. And maybe being single, you kind of are more independent. You kind of don't have somebody reminding you about things. So I have to take it all on myself. But it's interesting because now, I don't know, maybe I'm just having an existential...
an existential crisis?
Not a crisis, but just a re-examining, of what I want to do with the remainder of my time.
I've always been a big planner. Like I used planners in high school, and
of course you did.
And I have
I
have a memo app on my phone that just I have very concise lists of things. I have like a shopping list, my bills, like a calendar, my work schedule. It's all on there. Like if I lost my phone, I would.
Does your wife do that as well?
Because
it seems like you're doing it like she wouldn't need to.
I think that she uses a planner for work because she's a scheduler. Like that's what she does.
That's
important. She's definitely not. I don't think she's quite as like adamant about scheduling like her personal life as I am. And I have like specific days during the week, like Sunday. Since it's usually my day off, is like my laundry day, my grocery shop. Like I have like all my chores to do on Sunday, and I don't know. I've always been a person that just has like a very rigid schedule.
Yeah,
and I think it helps me be very productive.
Yeah, you're a productive person for sheezy, Maneezy.
I hate procrastination.
Yeah, you obviously figured that out because procrastination is a big problem for most people. I've never had a problem with it because I like to do things either right away, or if it's something I know I don't need to do right away, I'll get it done before it needs to get done. Like I was never late on with schoolwork. I always did well on tests. I never had to like study particularly hard. And like I just somehow just get it done. I just remember it or whatever.
Yeah.
But now that I think I have a lot more going on in my life in general, and I'm taking more like a proactive, like I have some hobbies and stuff like that. So now I have to kind of regulate my time a lot more efficiently and pay attention more. But every once in a while I'll just, have a day where I just fucking say, fuck it, I'm not going to do what I planned on doing or whatever.
I just, because my schedule is so hectic, like when I get a day off, if I have chores to do, I just like want to get up and just get them all done. So I can just like enjoy my day off. And so,
is that the key to procrastination, is just to not wait? Just don't put it off. Like if you can, either make a plan, I'm going to do it on Wednesday, or just do it now.
I usually, if I think about doing something and I'm not doing anything, I'm just going to go do it real quick. Like I'm just going to get it done, and then I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't like. I think that I think it's because I don't want to stress myself out. Where I feel like if I don't just like tackle these things as they're coming up, they're going to build up, and then I'm going to have anxiety about all these things I have to do. And so I just try to stay on top of it as much as I can. Because the moment I like get like a list, like a big list of things that like I suddenly need to be done, I get like a little bit of anxiety about it because I feel like I'm not going to have enough time to do it. So just to avoid that whole mess, I just do everything as quickly as I can, or as soon as I can.
Yeah. I don't like things looming over my head in my brain. Like they're not literally over my head, but they're like in the back of your brain, like you got to do this, you got to do, especially like work related. Like if I have to talk to somebody about something uncomfortable, if I talk to my boss about something specific, or there's a problem or customer issue or something, I just want to deal with it. I don't want to think about it, because the more I think about it, the more my brain comes up with every possible negative scenario. Yep. Instead, I think that I've realized, and through experimentation and through just doing it, is that the sooner you rip that, you just do it, you rip the Band-Aid off, you realize that there was no negative, there was really nothing you couldn't handle, or it wasn't that bad, or it's not like in the movies, where everything is like a fire and an explosion and everything like matters so much that you can't handle it or whatever. So I think I've realized that for the most part, the longer I wait, the more I get anxious. And so just don't wait and just take care of it. And especially like getting something done, or like if you have a bill, or like, you know, getting your taxes done. Like I just try to get it done as soon as possible. You know, even as much as I procrastinated on that this year, I got it done within like 2 weeks. Like that was as long as my brain could keep telling me to do my taxes before I just did it. We don't need to go into taxes.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I'll get them done real fast so I can get my money to the government. They need it so desperately. I overthink everything, so that's why I got to get it done before I think about it too much. And I know I do, but it's funny when you know you do something, but you at the same time can't stop yourself from doing it. Like, I'll overthink something, and I'm like, there's like a voice in my head that's spouting off of all this overthinking mumbo jumbo, and then there's the other part of my brain that's like, you're just overthinking everything, like what are you doing? But it's like that other part is so much more powerful, and I just can't stop myself from overthinking it.
It's like you just are the way you are, and as much as you wish you weren't like that, you can't you can't stop 20, 30 years of behavioral patterns and just like be chill if you're not chill. And so you have to kind of embrace it, but it does get fucking overwhelming when you're an overthinker or neurotic or anxious, and I'm all of that most of the time. But I think exercise has been really helpful because you can't think. I am not being neurotic when I'm flinging kettlebells over my head. Like I'm just thinking about my body. Like I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just doing a motion, and it stops your brain from like running. Like I don't know. You probably run a lot, so you can probably like flush things out. But it's a different experience. You're changing your chemistry when you're doing somewhat strenuous exercises, and I think it can change your mind state as well.
Well, I know it definitely affects like your chemicals and stuff. Like they say that like you should work out in the morning because it balances all your stress hormones for the day and helps with your energy levels and your attitude and everything. But running is great for me because it's where I come up with almost all of my story ideas, because when you're running, you don't have to pay attention outside of like some traffic or, what's going on in your general vicinity, but it doesn't require a lot of brain power to just run. Whereas like when I do kettlebell workouts, I'm very focused on what I'm doing because I don't want to drop that fucking thing on my head or my foot or anything.
On the ground.
And like at the kettlebell, it's very like you have to like remember to keep your back straight and have a certain posture. Like it's very like precise movements that you're doing. And so when I'm doing that, I don't think about anything else other than what I'm doing. It's very focused. So it's like kettlebells are good, I guess, if you just want to shut your brain off and not think about other stuff for a while and just focus on something. Whereas I feel like if you're running or walking or bike riding, that's like when you're probably going to think about stuff the most, because those require such little effort from your brain to do that it leaves it open to just like
that's true.
Do all kinds of other stuff.
When I go on walks, I listen to podcasts or audiobooks most of the time, and that is a lot to do with my desire to stop my brain, so I have to distract it with outside stimulus, which is other people talking most of the time. I really, really enjoy listening to people talk. That's why I like podcasts and audiobooks so much. Like I only listen to music like once or twice a week in my car or whatever. But most of the time, even when I'm riding my bike or whatever, I'll be listening to people talk to me, and it's like soothing to me. It's my brain is not the one initiating all of the. And then I'll go into myself sometimes more. If I'm arguing with the person I'm listening to in my head. Anyway,
it's funny because like I'm almost like the opposite. Like I listen to music all the time because I listen to music based off of the kind of emotional state it puts me in, and that the emotional state I want to be in is based off of like the project that I'm working on. Like I know what I want to write next, but I have to be like in this certain mental state to keep developing the story in like a certain emotional state. So then I seek out things that just make me feel that way. And so it's
right. Well,
it's very
music is emotional. So you can use it to manipulate yourself or to set a mood, and that's like what music does. I think is very emotional, and I love music. I get very into it when I'm into it, but it doesn't usually. I just pick a song that matches my mood, And so, like, if I'm sad, I'll listen to sad. It doesn't, like, help me get out of the mood. It just sort of reinforces how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
So I don't always want to go to it, because then I'm like, fuck that. I don't want to be sad. I want to listen to Joe Rogan fucking chat about, Stardust or something for a while so I can forget about it. But if I'm walking on the track by myself without any music and anything, I'm definitely get back into that neurotic kind of, Uber thinking kind of stuff. Do you want to do the words? We're getting almost to an hour now.
No, really? Yeah. I guess we should.
Unless you want more to say about...
No, I think I was pretty much winding down.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
All it does is just make me realize how much I just think about writing all the time.
Yeah.
Like, that's all.
Well, when you're passionate about something, it's the reason you get good at it is because you're thinking about it all the time.
Yeah.
I think we put too much emphasis in school on general knowledge, when passionate, specific knowledge is how people fucking become successful, is by knowing one thing really well, or like 5 things really well. Like if you're a manager, you're doing a lot of different things, but you're doing all those things for usually 1 or 2 singular purposes, and it's all focused on that, goal. But when you're in school, it's like math, reading, science, social studies, geography, fucking history. It's what should it matter? What matters? Anyway. So I think we should start with your word, because I feel like it's going to take longer to deal with.
It's ridiculous. I feel like now that I haven't looked at it in a while, I'm not going to be able to pronounce it again.
I feel like you shouldn't pronounce it. It's such a silly word. So you decided to pick the longest possible word, or at least one of the longest possible words
the part of the reason why
English language, and I don't even believe that it's a word. I'm still skeptical.
It's the most unwieldy. It's like showing up to a medieval battlefield with like a 75-pound broadsword. People are like, "Wow, that's a fucking big sword," but you're like, "I can't use it in this fight at all.
I'll put it down.
I have no use for it."
Yeah. It's like a really long, limp noodle.
Yeah. It's oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna really try hard to pronounce this. Oh jeez, I'm gonna. Oh. Okay, it's it's Floccinaucinihilipilification. Floccinaucinihilipilification. There we go.
Yeah, that's it. You got it there on the last one.
Floccinaucinihilipilification.
Hilipilification.
You just have to say it very like
Floccinaucinihilipilification.
There you go. You just kind of have
very melodic.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
You have to create the rhythm and just let it come out. So it's a crazy long word. It's actually one of the longest words in the English language. It means rare, or the estimation of something as valueless.
Yeah. It's like a pejorative. Like, it's like negative. Like, you're kind of making something, like in the second definition, like you're saying that it doesn't have value.
Yeah.
And then the other one is something rare. So I can see how that can be used in different ways. I think you should memorize how to say it really loud and really fast, and do it as a, like saying fuck. Like, you're just like, Floccinaucinihilipilification. and then no one will have any idea what you're saying, but you'll know, and it'll just sound really, like, creepy, I guess.
Floccinaucinihilipilification. Jesus. You would literally have to like just look at this and recite it every single day to yourself to just get good at saying it.
Just to remember it, just to even think about it.
It's a crazy unwieldy word. You want me to spell it?
Yeah, spell it out real quick.
I'm going to spell it, but people's eyes are just going to glaze over like 7 letters
they
in.
won't listen to it, yeah.
So this is how you spell this word. Floccinaucinihilipilification. Floccinaucinihilipilification.
And you thought Mississippi had a lot of eyes in it.
I know.
Jesus Christ. How many letters is that? 1, 2. It's 29 letters. That's way too many letters. Why couldn't it just be one more letter and be a nice even number? Fuck that.
They could have just thrown an extra I
put an
in there
H
somewhere.
in there. You could put an H anywhere in that and it'd still be the same thing. 2 H's. Yeah, that's a really weird word. How did you find it? You have this kind of like random word.
Yeah, I have a dictionary app that throws word of the days up, and it was like the word of the day like 5 days ago.
Oh, okay.
And I just have remembered it, and I keep looking at it.
Yeah.
Like I looked at it, it was like day before yesterday. I spent a few minutes just practicing the pronunciation because I was like, I want to use this word on our next episode because it's just so unwieldy and ridiculous.
Yeah,
and there's no use for it at all.
It just doesn't seem real. Like it shows that language is transitive. Like we just use words in and out of, like some dumb fucking smart guy. You know what I mean? He was like uber smart, wanted to be like Shakespeare. He comes up with this word. He just puts it into a couple books. It gets passed on because people love funky shit. And then, smart people were like, that's ridiculous. I don't need this in my life. So then we don't use it anymore.
No, I don't think that it's used at all anymore.
No.
It was very popular in the early 1800s, but not so much anymore.
You know what else was popular in the 1800s?
Syphilis?
Slaves.
Oh, that too.
Syphilis was so popular. Do you know how many people went out of their way to get that shit? Syphilis. Symbolism. Syblast.
Syphilis symbolizes slavery.
That's true. What? Somehow. Because it's sexy?
I don't know. What's your word? It's probably not as cool as Floccinaucinihilipilification.
It's not at all as cool.
Oh, boom. That's the first time I've said it without having to stare at the word.
Yeah, that was good. That was actually pretty fucking pretty normal. Or whatever, fluid.
I really got to get good at it.
Natural.
So I just want to throw it into conversations casually and just pretend like it's not a big deal.
Yeah, like your shirt or something, like something rare you can that you have.
Your work ethic is just really Floccinaucinihilipilification,
and then just walk away.
It's so rare.
Drop your mic.
There's just
and fucking walk away. You don't have a mic on your hand usually.
No, I got to carry one. Just so I can, just for that one instance.
Just like a little one of those little kids ones.
You would drop it and walk away, and then you would walk like 10 paces, and
then
then you would turn around and run real quick and grab it.
That's my mic. My word is aphorism.
Boring.
Yeah, right. And it's only like 7 letters. 8 letters.
You can count. That's good.
No, I can't.
What was the word again?
Aphorism.
Aphorism?
An aphorism. Do you know what that is? Somewhat common word.
No.
Okay.
But it's an ism, so that's exciting.
It's a pithy observation that contains a general truth such as, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So essentially, it's any of those like little quotes, like truisms. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. One was... it was about war. What was it? War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. That's war. Actually an example.
War never changes.
Oh man, I forget the fucking good one I saw last night when I was looking it up. But whatever. You
have this whole notebook, and you should have written them down. Why?
No, I know. Sometimes I think I'm going to remember things, and I just don't remember them. Because
you really need to remember that you can't remember things.
How am I supposed to do that? But anyway, I was going to say, essentially, whenever anybody makes like a philosophical quote, that tends to be an aphorism. It came from when I was looking up the word maxim, like maxim is like an old Greek version of, you have a maxim, which is just a phrase that is like true, in and of itself. But I was thinking about, because I was writing some things on Twitter the other day while I was sitting here watching science stuff. I don't know if you got a chance to read any of them. I wrote these little like truisms.
I probably did.
You probably did. They're. I thought they were pretty clever.
You're the only reason why I'm on Twitter.
Thank
it's just
you.
to look at your little thoughts.
Good.
It's like I get to be around you without physically being present.
I have some interesting thoughts, I think. I think it comes from my the fact that I used to memorize Bible verses when I was in indoctrination camp as a child, and so I know kind of how to write in that kind of
quick 140.
Yeah, that kind of like concise but intricate language that a lot of old writing used to be, old English and they use big words in weird ways, and they can condense a big concept into a small space. And that's why I like Twitter, is because you can you have to condense. You have to kind of concisely say something, and so it's a challenge to use that space in that way. Let me think here. I wrote, subconsciousness thins as consciousness grows. In the vast shadows, it lingers and counsels with silent warnings and startling illuminations.
Sounds like the beginning of a poem.
Yeah, it's kind of poetic. And I used to write poetry more often, so Twitter is like my outlet for poetry now. So I don't know. When it comes to me, it's fun. I really enjoy it, but I don't get a lot of feedback on it, so that's why I'm bringing it up right now, really. I just want more people to fucking hear my shit, I guess. I'm a little self-centered that way.
Isn't that the whole point of the podcast? It's just for people. We just want people to hear us chat, jabberjaw.
Yeah.
Jabberwocky.
Yeah, it's to express ourselves in a fucking forum, that we're expecting people to choose.
Well, people aren't going to read the forum, but if they can listen to it.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier to digest, and then we can get some attention, maybe? I don't know.
I feel like the words digest and consume are so widely used now, just for, like, everything.
Yeah.
Because, like, normally you would just say, it's just easier for people to listen to, because they can just hear it, and they don't have to read and focus.
They digest
but now,
it.
we're just like, cancel all that. Just throw all that out. It's just easier to consume.
Yeah.
It's easier to digest.
Yes. It's a metaphor. We're using the metaphor of digestion for how we
we're
take
in America.
Thoughts.
People are fucking fat, so that's all people do is consume and digest.
That's true.
So
it is a big part of our
culture. We would
culture.
just fit those words into like everything we can.
I think we produce so much in our culture, like literally, like produce all sorts of different things: information, food, laws and corporations and new businesses. We produce so much, so we have consumers. When you're producing that much stuff, there's a reason for it, and it's because people are digesting and consuming it. That's a big part of our motivation in the economy and stuff. So it becomes a big part of our culture, even if you're consuming and digesting the stuff that people say you should be, you're still doing it. There's no getting around it.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Not anymore.
There's never been a time in which animals did not eat food or produce, at least enough.
Yeah, but there was definitely
something.
a time where they just ate what they needed to eat.
Oh no, yeah, excess is part of the
excess
the
is
problem.
A huge
for sure.
problem nowadays, and I'm happy to say that I've finally broken the chains of excess.
Yeah, you're
myself.
A minimalist.
No,
you don't do a lot in the way of like excess. You don't like go out spending tons of money or buying lots of food.
No, I know. I meant mostly just in the way of eating and things like that. Like being able to not have to deal with that shit anymore is very nice. I don't go to bed
like in pain.
In pain. Well, no, like when we used to go to restaurants and stuff, I would like eat so much that I would like
it stopped
like
you.
I was just like
stops you in your tracks.
You're just like.
I'm
now
done.
I get up and like walk. Now I just like I eat and then I'm just like I'm kind of full and I'm just like I'm done. I'm not gonna eat anymore. And then you realize that you can actually function after eating. You don't have to like eat and then go sleep and then hibernate. And
the feeling of a normal satiation is very new to me as well. In the last year or so, it's a little different. But
I'm never in just windows of diarrhea constantly. Like
not anymore.
Going to the bathroom is not an emergency anymore for me. It's just like
every once in a while. Every once in a while I push it, and
Yeah.
It's like, nope, it's 11:30. This is when I go, and I go this time every day. Why are you not in the bathroom?
Yeah, but you don't have, like, diarrhea exploding out of your ass.
It's also regular. It's
Yeah.
like I know what to expect. I'm not like, oh shit, literally. Anyway, we're gonna start talking about poop again, aren't we? Oh no. Yeah, again, man.
Not again.
Man, I've been watching fucking non-stop Metalocalypse, and that show is fucking great.
I've seen episodes. Like, I've probably seen like 3 or 4 episodes. It's something I've never just like sat down and watched a lot of.
It's so fucking good, man. You got to check it out. It's on Hulu now, along with a bunch of other Adult Swim stuff.
Oh, nice.
Rick and Morty. If people don't watch that show, I don't know if we've talked about it very much
Rick
on the
and Morty,
show. We've talked about it before.
Fucking love.
You
Rick
have
and
to watch
Morty.
that fucking show. Fuck you if you don't watch that show. It's one of the best shows, unless you're dumb. It's a kind of a science-based show. But
Rick and Morty is like South Park, but for intelligent people. Like, anybody can enjoy South Park because it's so ridiculous and silly that it's just entertaining.
It's irony and satire can get lost on you, but you don't need to know it. But
Rick and Morty is just quick and witty and actually fairly scientific,
very
like
clever,
the things that they talk about.
Clever.
And I think that's why I love it so much. It's
yeah.
fucking hilarious, but I feel like I'm not an idiot for watching it. Like it's like something that
it's
being
thoughtful.
an intelligent person you can enjoy because you can pick up on more of what they're getting at. And it's awesome. I love Rick and Morty. And the new season starts next month, like July 26th, I think. So it's still pretty far away, but
fuck, man, I've watched that first season like 6 times.
I know,
in a row.
so have I.
It's crazy. But Metalocalypse is fucking great because there's lots of. It's quick. It's like 11-minute episodes, and the characters are really, really funny. They all have different accents, and they all are very different. They're also childish, but they're the richest, most powerful people in the world because of their band, their death metal band. But they're just so silly and childish and pretty dumb. They're all really dumb characters for the most part. It's just really well done. I definitely recommend it. And then you can start doing the voices with me. Different voices that they do. There's two like European, like one's Scandinavian and one's like Norwegian. So one's from they're both from pretty much the same area, Scandinavian. So they both have a similar accent. And then there's a guy from like Boston or something, and he sounds like Boston, like we've been making fun of, like for the last couple weeks.
I love Boston accents.
Bra and
you don't know what you're getting at, man.
Yeah. And then Nathan Explosion is the main guy, and he just sounds kind of like Batman. He's got that like really gruff. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what we're doing about this, guys. But then it's just really, he's really silly. And they just tell jokes and shit to each other and giggle. It's fucking so silly. I fucking love it. Like this guy, he's a manager and he's sitting at the top of the table and he's like trying to get them to focus on like doing something. And then Nathan Explosion just texts one of the other guys a knock knock joke, and he's like knock knock, and then there goes, oh my gosh, what is this? And then he goes, who is it? And he goes. And then he's just like, Nathan. And then he's like, wait, it's you the whole time. Oh, my God, that's so funny. It's you. It's Nathan. And then they just start giggling. Oh, that was a good joke. That was so good. And they're, it's fucking so silly. Anyway, it just makes me want to do all the voices. But since you haven't checked it out, I'm going to just jump into them.
I'll just imitate you imitating voices. So I have like secondhand imitations.
Yeah, Murderface is my favorite. He has that major like lisp. He's like, I don't know about this stuff. It's pretty stupid. You're dumb, and I hate you.
Yeah, that's a voice I can just do.
Yeah, you can do that voice too, for sure.
I'll sing songs at work using a lisp.
Oh yeah, like that.
Like if I'm listening to music that I can't stand, I have to like sing along with it.
But seriously.
Like I change the lyrics or I do it in a ridiculous voice so that I'm entertaining myself with the terrible music that I'm listening to. So.
Right. And you can't just like pretend like you enjoy Katy Perry. Like you can't just sing it like she does.
Yeah, no, I can't.
You can't get away with that.
I can't just be a firework. I have to like maintain my masculinity.
Firework.
Firework.
Yeah.
Show the world the way. See your work. Something I don't even know.
I don't know either.
I just know that you're a firework part, and that's about it.
I was singing I forget what the song was. It was like fucking Happy Birthday or something, but with like a Scottish accent. It was fucking very fun.
You want to give us a sample? I'm curious. I think everybody's curious now.
I'm trying to think of the song.
You could just sing Happy Birthday with a Scottish accent.
Happy birthday to you. You have to be drunk at the time. Oh, happy birthday to you. Oh, happy birthday.
I feel like whenever somebody does a Scottish accent, I just assume that the character that they are now portraying is an alcoholic. Yeah.
Well, drunk. You're either like mad or you're drunk. So you're either like, oh, that's fucking great. Oh, you're so nice. Oh, I love you. Or you're like, fuck you. I'm going to fucking kill you. You don't know what I'm talking about. Fuck you. Like I don't know how you can just do it normal, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just not it doesn't have as much fucking power if you're just talking that way. If you're just like, oh, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm fine. Whatever. I don't care.
Which is how they would talk. Like that's how they normally talk.
Yeah.
But I think because we're so American that in order to do the accent, we feel like we have to take it to the top shelf and do like the really over the top accent to hit it home.
Yeah. The hardest thing to do about accents is be realistic about it because in real life they're not doing an accent. They're just talking like normal people. They're not trying to like imitate anything. So to make it sound real, you have to stop thinking about it being a character. It just has to be talking and not worrying about how you're talking.
Yeah.
You have to do it a lot. I fucking do it a lot.
Do it so much.
I'll do it a lot.
That's all I do.
With your mother. I've done
Oh, that's what you've been up to lately.
Oh, aye.
I haven't seen her in a while.
Aye, she's been busy on my dick.
Well.
Yeah.
At least somebody's busy on your dick.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to go into that. Fucking
That's sad, soppy fucking
dude,
nightmare.
let me just, before we finish up here, because we're at about an hour. I finally got the guts up, because I'm a pussy.
The guts up?
Yeah, the balls together, just clanking around.
I gathered them.
So I write this chick, and I was like, okay, I'm going to write something a little bit about a profile so that I can get a response. So I was like, hey, how's it going? You wrote that you're an atheist, and I think that's awesome that you're open about it. That's kind of rare. And, you're a teacher. What do you teach? To get a response. Like, that's the first thing I wrote. And then she writes me back, and she's like, yeah, it's no big deal. We live in a place where it's not a big deal to be open about that. And then she asked me a question. She wrote, like, hey, where are you?
What did she not answer what she had taught?
Yeah, she answered it. She social studies.
Social studies. I was
I'm not
really
going to tell
curious.
you like her profile name or anything.
No, I don't want to know her name. I was
But no, she taught social studies.
Atheist teaching social studies. Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
I
right?
have like a little feel for who she is as a person now.
Right, and she's my age, and everything on her profile was very attractive. So I spend a lot of time looking at profiles, and no one stands up to my fucking standards, just because I'm retarded, and it makes it easy for me to be alone. But I don't have to put myself out there if I have really high standards. But anyway, so I write this to her, and then she writes like, oh, where are you going camping? Because in my profile I wrote like, I'm going on this camping trip this year. And so I write back. I write like, oh, I'm going to do this, and it's really fun. And I kind of write a little like if I was talking, I just wrote like if I was talking, like I kind of explained it. And then I come back with, hey, do you have any fun outdoorsy stuff that you're going to do? Like a totally normal situation. Like I don't feel like I wasn't being weird. It was totally smooth, like enough. I wasn't being like overbearing or anything. And maybe I'm just reading into it too much. But I would assume that after she asked me a question about camping, maybe she's into it. I know she is, because every girl in the world on fucking dating sites is into fucking outdoorsy shit and laughing. They all like to laugh and be outdoors. They're fucking crazy, maniacal people. It's so silly when somebody has to write, I like a good sense of humor. Like, no shit, bitch. Everybody likes a good sense of humor. Nobody likes a fucking non-sense of humor. Anyway, so I write her back like, oh, do you have any fun outdoorsy stuff? And then just nothing. It's been like 2 days, and it drives me fucking crazy. Like, I don't get it.
Do you start questioning whether you said something wrong or if they're just
It's all that. Like, what was wrong? Why doesn't she care? Obviously, she's probably getting a bunch of notes from lots of dudes.
Yeah.
I'm not the only dude, but she's the only person that I've messaged. So the expectations are a little different. But at the same time, it's, like, kind of rude to fucking not answer somebody back. Like, she looked at my profile a couple times. I know that she looked at my profiles. Girls just look at profiles without ever texting anybody. And then I wrote her, she wrote me, and then I asked her a question. It's fucking kind of rude to not even write back, hey, I just don't want to talk to you or something. Like, I guess she doesn't have to.
It's like having a conversation with somebody, and then you ask that question, and then she just
walk
walked
away.
away and just like,
yeah,
meh.
It's like you like turn to like look at a loud commotion behind you, and then you turn around and she's just gone. And you're just like, fuck. I thought you were somebody for a second, but you're not. So that's
Somebody
the
for
last
me.
thing. So then it makes me completely not want to write another person, because almost every time I've written somebody, it gets this brush off kind of quick bullshit kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's just, I guess dating online is just like that. I think you just have to put out a ton of fucking feelers and see what happens. But I don't want to fucking just have just anybody respond to me. I'm not going to just... I'm not going for the odds, I'm going for like, I really like everything on your profile, so you're a good person to invest a little bit more time into, so here you go. But I think I'm weird about the whole thing. So.
If my wife dies or I get divorced or something,
God.
I don't know what I'm going to do, because I haven't...
Well, don't ask me. I have
yeah.
no idea. I'm not the right person.
When you're always telling me these things, I'm like, I have no tips. Fella,
I don't think tips.
No idea.
I don't
like,
think tips help really. But
I know, because like
I'm
just
kind of an
something
adult
worked for somebody one time or something. But I feel bad because I have no input. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been in the same relationship for
You're
like a
I already solved
decade.
that problem by getting married to an awesome person, and I'm just like, fuck you, man. I don't want to be with somebody, but I don't.
Sorry.
At the same time. Ugh, fucking weird. I'm a weirdo, but whatever. Anyway.
I don't know.
It's
How did people used to date back in the before the internet? Did you just go to bars and just is that literally how that went down?
You found people out in the world and fucking said hi.
Traveled. I guess you just got to
I
really.
think guys like me just died alone and never procreated. I'm too shy, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
And afraid and untrusting.
I would have a tough time with it, I think, because I'm such an introverted person that I would only really be interested in I wouldn't be interested in like a younger girl who likes to go out and party all the time, because I don't want to fuck that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with drinking and partying and noise and large groups. And
you want to like sit and read.
I want like another person who is cool with just spending the day like hanging out in the house and reading or maybe watching a couple movies or something. So but those people are not out in like the world like really socializing that much, and so it's so hard to find people if you're that kind of person, which you kind of are. Like you like just hanging out and watching documentaries and taking notes and thinking about things. And the women that do that kind of stuff are at their home. Yeah,
like
doing
taking notes,
stuff.
Being interested in stuff. Yeah, they're not like looking for me specifically.
Or they
are, but
they're just getting messaged.
And they're waiting for
dudes.
me, but I never message because everyone I message fucking blows me off. And I only message a few people. It's not like it's not like a travesty. It's not like I'm fucking trying that hard. I'm not trying to overblow that situation, but that's the kind of stuff you have to deal with that. It's stupid. And then like half the girls have kids and the other half have pictures of them with a bunch of booze. And I'm just like, okay, you seem like a piece of shit, so I'm just
So you're either an alcoholic or you have
you're
a
a
child.
single mom. Yeah.
Which means that you made some pretty
there.
poor choices leading up to being a single mother.
Well, that's a whole hornet's nest of fucking conversation.
Well, assuming that you made like a lot of good decisions means that you would be in a relationship with somebody with the child, not by yourself with the child.
That would indicate a pretty good way to do things.
Like there are things out of your control, but ultimately your decisions are what
you have to take responsibility for them, or else I'm not going to take the I didn't know, or he changed, or bullshit. Women are responsible for their actions, and if you made a bad decision, I'm not the guy who's going to make you feel better. I don't want to be with a single mom at all. I don't want to raise somebody else's kid. I don't want to incentivize people making bad decisions. I'm willing to, if I met somebody who had a kid and they had a interesting circumstance and they've learned a lot from it, and
died, and now they're
that's
alone.
A different situation.
Yeah.
That's not a bad decision. You can't do anything about that. Yeah. But that's a totally different thing. But if they, they went to therapy, or they, tried to figure out what happened and they're really honest about it all, that's a different situation. But I don't think a lot of single moms are going around taking responsibility and really making sure it doesn't happen again, and then being really, really careful who they're with afterward. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people just go around with their genitals hanging out, and that's their desire is for comfort and short-term pleasures and things like that. And I know they think about it, but I don't think they really. A lot of them probably, and I could be totally wrong because I don't fucking ask them, and I'm not going to. But.
It's a tough question to ask somebody you don't know.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna. First thing I text is like, "Hey, like, how'd you fuck up? Like, you kind of fucked up there? Like, divorced people also scare me because that's a bad decision. I think you should spend the time to figure that shit out. Those lifelong fucking commitments. You better take the time to figure them out, and then if you fail at them, that says something about your ability to plan and think ahead and make decisions. But that doesn't mean that you can't grow and learn and change. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people don't fucking do that.
Nope.
So
that's like
I'm
sad
skeptical.
Truth for sure, is that people do not grow or change all that much, not as much as we'd like.
I don't have any kids, so it's not like it's impossible. It's not like it's impossible to fucking like control yourself,
or just be responsible and make proper choices.
Yeah, better choices and all that. Yeah, Proper. Anyway, we should probably be done. We're way over an hour. Not way. That's exaggeration.
Fucking exaggerating. God damn it.
I know. Oh my God.
You just always.
We were talking about lying
exaggerating.
earlier, and I was like, I don't lie. And I fucking lie.
I don't lie. I just exaggerate a little bit.
It's a little white lie.
It's because I take the truth and I just put a little spin on it, a little spice.
A little spice, a little fucking, little how do you do?
flair.
Little, hey, here's this one. Hey,
I
spicy.
could tell you the truth, but it's kind of boring. So
It's kind of spicy now.
throw some
Let's-
red peppers on that bitch.
Yeah, red ones, green ones, give you heartburn. Fuck yeah.
So you get a good story
Mhm.
and a burning sensation in your
Mhm.
chest.
Nothing like a good little white lie. Make you feel better. I'm not fat. I'm fucking big boned.
Big bone, and it's hereditary. Everybody in my family is big. You know, you should just love me for who I am and for
Yeah,
my
yeah.
body.
Yeah, don't love me for my decisions. Just love me for like a lack
I
of
have like
caring.
an extra 3 feet of small intestine.
Yeah. That's fucking gross. Like the whole like more cushion for the push-in or something. It's like that's just people saying that like to not.
It's
take
just an
responsibility
excuse
for their fat
yeah,
ass.
for just you know, I could exercise and eat better and
Yeah.
probably drop some weight, or I could just force you to love me for who I
Yeah.
am and make up excuses for how I am.
and then
okay.
and then shame you into like
Yeah.
like saying anything about it. Yeah, I don't know. That and guys don't give a shit for the most part. Like most guys, it's not more cushion for the pushing. It's a vagina.
Yep.
It doesn't matter who it is or what it's connected to. Like, you know, a sufficient enough, you know, facsimile of a woman, you know, with a vagina will suffice for most men. I think, at least for short-term periods.
yeah,
Yeah, like
very
if
short
you're
term.
gonna get put it out, like there's a dude who will fuck you. It does
Yeah.
not matter what you look like. You know,
that's why people can close their eyes and they have imaginations and
yeah,
paper bags.
picturing
and
Jenny
whatnot,
Lopez,
what have you.
J Lizzo.
Do people picture any? I don't know. I think she's a
No.
little been there, done that.
Dude,
at
have
this
you
point.
seen her? She looks like 25. She is not. She is hot as fuck still.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was
like
never
I
a
wouldn't say
J-Lo
that. Like
fan.
I'm not a J-Lo fan. I don't give a fuck her, but she looks young. She
Mhm.
doesn't look like the 50-year-olds. You know, I'm sure she's around 50.
Probably
40,
yeah,
50
yeah,
years
like
old.
40,
She does
50,
not
somewhere
look
in
at
there.
it. She is doing a great job, but she's got that fucking.
What happens when you have a lot of money?
Latin,
You have like
you
a
know.
nutritionist and a
Yeah.
personal trainer, and you can take
Oh,
care of
yeah.
yourself really well.
Much better. Yeah,
and also,
at
you
least
don't
get
have to
help.
like work a 9 to 5 job every day. You just kind of
No.
do whatever you want. Like your job is to look
I'm
good.
sure she works really hard, but her looks are part
Yeah.
of her job, so that's just maintaining her job is to look good.
But yeah, that would be your job.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like instead of
For
going
every
to
actor.
the office at 9 a.m. or your store or
Mhm.
whatever you do,
You go work out.
You go to the gym at 9 and you
Mhm.
work out for like 2 hours or 3 hours.
Oh yeah, like
and then you're done.
The guy who plays Captain America, it's his job to like look
Oh yeah,
a
Chris
certain
Evans.
way.
Yeah,
Like that's part of his work, you know. So that makes total sense. Your looks are everything in Hollywood.
yeah.
Not everything, obviously. Your ability to read words in emotional ways, that's important as well. But there's a lot of people out there that don't do that very well.
No,
Anyway.
but they look good, so they get away with it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Chris
like
Evans.
J-Lo.
Chris Evans. I don't know. I'm a goat. Anyway, let's be done.
All right,
Say
wrap it up.
something.
Good
Wrap
night,
it.
everybody. Thanks for listening.
I love you.
Bye.
I don't really love it.
Nah.
I do.
Nah, maybe. A little bit.